I know that I'm here for a reason. Head down, 10 toes to...
My max and my average were exactly the same, which is cool. So across 10 sets, everything stayed consistent. All right, cycle 3, day 4. We got sprints to start the day. So for today's workout, they got the sprinklers on in my neighborhood, so the grass is like a mud pit. So I pulled an audible for today. I'm gonna do just the echo bike. I already did, but I replaced that resisted sprint work and the regular sprint work with 10 sets on the echo bike, sprinting max effort for 6 seconds, and then resting 1 minute in between sets. So we're going for total calories with the goal of keeping everything the same across all sets. So at the end, your max and your average should be as close to the same as possible. Just a steady output across all 10 sets. It's a part of training, man. Any program you buy, there's gonna be things that you don't have access to or that don't fit exactly what you're willing to do. And you gotta be able to pull audibles. You gotta be able to figure out a way around it. So if you don't have a sled, if you can't go sprint on turf, like I said, find a way to get a resisted sprint in. If it's an echo bike, if it's banded, it's buying a parachute, if it's just dragging a weight behind you, whatever it is. For me, I got all the equipment. Now I just don't have the grass today, which I could have threw stuff in the back of the truck and drove, found a park. Didn't feel like doing that. I feel like just doing the echo bike. Saved some time this morning. I'm a little busy. So that's the name of the game, man. Is just finding a way to get it done. It doesn't have to be exactly by the book every single time. Just get the desired stimulus in and get the work done. And that's a win. Where there's a will, there's a way. Man, there's always a way to get it done. There's also always a way to make an excuse about it. So don't be that guy that makes an excuse. Immediately after those sprints, we're gonna jump into box jumps again. Try and keep the height either the same as last week or a little higher. We're gonna go for 3 sets, 3 reps, same thing. We're looking for max intent on our box jump. Again, we're training the skill on these. These are not 3 as fast as we can do back to back, none of that. 3 back to back perfect reps, rest, and 3 more. That is the stimulus we're trying to go for today. So if you wanna add a height to the box jump, totally cool with that. Sometimes adding more height gives you a higher target. Will actually make you explode more because you're aiming for a higher target. You're forced to actually explode. It's kind of the same concept as an Olympic lift. Once you add weight, you're forced to be faster, but you have to have technique before you add the weight. So on these box jumps, make sure you have good technique before you start adding height, but add that height to force yourself to be perfect, fast, explosive, and max intent. All right, immediately after those box jumps, we're going into our skill piece for the day. You got 8 minutes to work on double unders. So what we're gonna do is 50 reps or 50 double unders per set. But the goal, again, it's skill. The intended skill for today is 50 perfect reps. So if you think about it this way, during our workout, when we're going as fast as we can, rounds for time or whatever, and double unders are thrown in, we're trying to get those done as quick as possible. And you shouldn't really be thinking about each rep. It should be second nature at that point where we're just kind of sending it and getting it done. You already know how to do it subconsciously and you're getting it done. You're not thinking about every rep. That's how you get quick. So we got to build that first block first, where we don't have to think about how to do each rep, and it's just second nature. It's subconscious. We just know how to do a double under, and now we're just focused on the other things that go into it. For today, every single rep on those 50 double unders, focus on each one. How does it feel? Are your feet hitting in the same spot? Think about trying to make every single rep identical. Make sure your hands stay in the same spot. Make sure you're not bouncing forward or backward, trying to stay in the same position every single time. Make sure you're not bouncing side to side. No wasted energy. Try and make each rep perfect. Make the spin perfect, the jump perfect. Try and feel like you're hitting the ground too much. Are you too wide with your hands? Make all those things perfect now with each and every rep and make sure it's consistent. And then once that skill becomes second nature, now we add everything else into it. And once we nail that, now when you hit a workout and you're tired and your form starts to break down a little bit, you'll be able to recover from it and compensate because you have the basics mastered, right? It's just like we talked about the other day. The bread and butter is where the money's made. This is the bread and butter, making sure every rep is perfect before we send it into a workout. So that's the skill component right now. That's the intention of this piece, is to build that skill, not to get it done as fast as you can. I'm not giving you like 5 sets of 50. You have 8 minutes, do 50 reps, rest as much as you need to, do 50 more, and just do that for 8 minutes, and then we'll jump into our next piece. All right, now our last piece for the day, everybody's favorite, we got threshold training. So again, on the echo bike, my goal with this is stay off of your feet no matter what, because we have dynamic effort tomorrow. So I want you to stay on a bike, on a machine, something where we're not running, we're not taxing our legs too much. Later on in the program, and in CHC, we can start to throw in running into this portion before a dynamic effort day, and it's structured differently to where there's more rest and recovery. But right now, and earn the right, I want you to stay on a bike or a machine for this portion of the workout. Threshold training, we should know what it is by now. If you don't, watch the last 2 cycles for the explanation, but it's a pace that we can hold for the duration that's allotted in the program. So for today, we're gonna up the minutes by 2. We're gonna go 30 minutes at threshold pace. So we should have set, these last 2 weeks had an idea of what our threshold pace is right now. So for me, I'm gonna go about 60 RPMs for 30 minutes and try and maintain that pace the entire time. But threshold should be a comfortable hard. Like it's a hard pace that you don't want to do, but you can do and can sustain for the full 30 minutes, if that makes sense. Your heart rate should be about 80, 85%, maybe up to 90 during this workout. I'm not wearing a heart rate monitor. I'm going off of Phil, but make sure you push it. The goal with these conditioning pieces is to push our threshold ceiling and find our threshold floor, find that zone and to push it and to continually increase it. But we've got to do that smart and with intent. So what I mean by that, it means nothing if you sprint the last 5 minutes and now you have a better calories, like you did more work in that time period technically, but you didn't ride the whole 30 minutes at a threshold pace. You rode the first 20 at maybe almost the top end of zone 2, and then you decided to send it for 5 minutes and then sprint for 5. That defeats the entire purpose. We're trying to maintain a steady pace for that full 30 minutes at that top end. So I don't care if you increase your calories this week, but then if you defeated the intent of the workout. So make sure we do it the right way, and that's how we're going to increase both the floor and the ceiling of our threshold zone and our threshold pace. It's more beneficial if you sit at that threshold floor for a few cycles and start to climb up, rather than trying to find a threshold ceiling and defeating the purpose of the workout sprinting at the end of it. It defeats the purpose of everything. So I'd rather you come out easy and then finish hot than coming out hot and finishing burned out and defeating the purpose of the workout. All right, a little slow this week. My average 59. Max is 61, so a little slower than I want. All right, that's a wrap on that threshold training. I was a little slow this week. 59 is my average, wanted 60. That's all right though. So I'm talking about we hit the floor and then we progress from there. So my goal next time, go a little faster. It's all good. Ecclesiastes 3:8 says there's a time for war and there's a time for peace. Most people don't know that verse is in the Bible, and they're actually shocked by some of the stuff that's in there. But here's the principle. I watched a video yesterday of 2 dudes, both fighters. One dude's teaching the lesson, the other dude's learning. He asked the other guy, he says, hey, what's your fastest hand? The guy raises his left hand, he says, this one. He's like, all right, hold that hand out. He's like, I'm gonna throw 3 jabs at that hand. Don't let any of them hit your hand, so move it as fast as you can. He's like, all right, cool, easy enough. Raises his hand up. Dude throws the first jab as fast as he can. Guy moves his hand, misses it. Sets up again. Dude throws the second one as fast as he can. Dude moves his hand, misses it. Guy's like, this is easy. So the dude teaching the lesson stops. He says, all right, got one more, man. Don't let it hit that hand. The guy's like, all right, here we go. One more, I'll win this, right? Puts his hand up. Dude sets up for the jab. This time, the guy throwing the jab throws it like this. Hits his hand dead center, even though he tried to move it as fast as he could. What's the lesson there? The lesson is this. Controlled violence is a protector's tool. All right, there's a time for war and there's a time for peace. But controlled violence is a protector's tool. And aggression without discipline is weakness. So it's having that in control. It's not about how fast you can go, how violent you are, how aggressive you are. These days are all about speed and power and quickness and explosiveness, but under control with discipline. It makes me think of this. When I was in high school, above our locker room door, every time you would leave, there was an acronym above the door, and I would hit it every time I left. And it was a phrase I took with me up until today. And the acronym is YOGO YP, YOGO WYPI. You only get out what you put in. And I thought about that every day. I'd go to practice, every day I would go to class, every day of my life since then. I'd always leave and I'd think of that phrase. You only get out what you put in. If you're not willing to put the effort in, don't expect the results. Pretty basic concept, right? But this is where the discipline comes in. That doesn't mean that throwing as much against the wall as you can is a good idea. It doesn't mean doing the most all the time. That's what led me to working out 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day, neglecting family, neglecting personal life, neglecting my time with God, neglecting reading my Bible, neglecting doing all these other things because I want to do as much as I possibly could, because the more I put in, the more I get out, right? So what leads to addiction and all kinds of things. It's like I want more because I know I'm going to get more. And it's like you lose track of what the actual purpose and goal of that statement is, and that's where it boils down to this. Controlled discipline is a strength and not a weakness. That's why that video I watched yesterday hit me so deep, because I'm like, that's literally the principle in motion, right? You would think that as fast as you can throw that jab, you're going to hit the hand. You're not going to hit it slow, but it's the exact opposite. You throw that slow, you're going to hit the hand, you're going to hit your mark. So that doesn't mean don't do the work, and it doesn't mean don't give 100%. It's just that there is a balance, and you need to be on the upside of that balance, so a little bit off balance, a little aggressive, but controlled and disciplined in what you do, doing things for the right reasons. It's not just about you, it's about the people around you, right? Think of it from that mindset and you have that discipline, everything will work out just fine. So I hope you guys enjoy this workout. This program is difficult. It is not easy at all. And it's not supposed to be easy. I'm not marketing this for everybody. This program is marketed to people that have the time and want to put the work in, and also who are counted on in their daily lives to be in tip-top shape, and someone else's life depends on it. If that's you, like, you should be doing this, or a program like this, you should be working out consistently every single day, in my opinion. It's in some way, shape, or form. This program is a lot of work. I'm not selling it for the masses. I'm selling it for a niche of people who are willing to do the work, and it's going to get you to where you want to go. It's going to give you elite fitness while you still live your life and do the things that you're supposed to do. I also have another program coming out. It's called Stand Firm. It'll be out, I think, at the end of August is my goal. And that one's gonna be more towards people that just don't have the time. There's too much going on in their lives, but wanna be in tip-top shape, who only have a short amount of time, who only wanna work out 5 days a week and need 2 to 3 days of rest. Totally get it. I've got that program for you. I'm not dogging on you guys if that is you. I'm just saying that if you really if you really do an audit of your life, you probably have more time to work out than you think. Okay, and if you're in a profession or if your day-to-day life is such that someone else depends on your fitness level to protect them, then you should be training a certain way. But something's better than nothing, and this other program is perfect if I were back in a conventional gym. I put myself in those shoes where I used to work out at a 24-hour fitness. So this program will be available for you guys. $15 a month is what's going to be on Train Heroic. It's the lowest, so let me market it. Like I said, the goal is just for you guys to get healthy. It's not to make a bunch of money off of it. Last but not least, a few things. Check out the app. We have a new challenge to drop this week. If you guys want to know what that is, go to the app.thestrugglestandard.com. Check it out. I'm also going to have these shirts dropping sooner or later. Again, I am making sure they're perfect before I sell them to you guys. I think this logo is a little off. But if you guys like the designs, let me know. Go on the website, check them out. Shoot me a message. Be like, yo, I like this. I don't like this. Maybe do this. Give me some feedback. But those will be available hopefully in the next couple weeks. I've been wearing these shirts quite a bit during my workouts and other things to make sure they're actually good quality before I sell them to you guys. So I'm stoked about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this workout. We'll see you again tomorrow for day 5.